Well, I'm just going to put in my oar. I genuinely think it would be a viral moment. I think it would be good for the game. It wouldn't be good for the guy who's on the receiving end, but it would be good for the game. So, Carl, we've talked a lot about Joshua Filler.
Hsieh Chia Chen to break.
His opponent, Hsieh Chia Chen, 30-year-old from Chinese Taipei, who beat Saad Al-Dress 9-2 in his opening match. He's had a pretty good career, has Chen. Highlighted by a run to the quarter-final of the US Open in 2022. Filler is a student of the game, so he'll be well aware that this is no walk in the park. Chen's also a former quarter-finalist in the Asian Nineball Championship. And he reached the last 32 of the World Nineball, i.e. this event, 2 years ago.
No, that's not a difficult shot, but he hits that shot just so pure, just the sweet spot of the tip connecting the cue ball just to stop it dead, and he does it better than anyone. Well, obviously I've been outside to interview with Pia Filler. What's the score on this table just in front of us? Table 2, Chang Yulong and Albert Manus.
It's 4-3 to Chang. Manus, though, what a good cueist.
Extension called.
He gets himself up for these type of shots. Opening rack, it's long, it's near the rail, it's straight, he's got to roll forward about 4 feet. Does he get the job done? Middle of the pocket, of course he gets the job done.
It's not a stretch to say he's the best potter in the sport.
But he is. We have a lot of good potters. Of course we do. He isn't at the top of that list. Well, show me who is.
Joshua Filler wins the rack.
Filler off to a typically quick start.
Thanks.
Now, Carl Boys was mentioning that Chinese Taipei Filipino match involving a clash of generations, Chang Junlin and Albert Manus. Well, the 17-year-old from the Philippines is doing okay, but Chang Junlin, who I know is one of Carl Boyes' most admired players. 5-3 up and with a chance to make it 6-3.
Yeah, certainly about 10 years ago when I was playing on the circuit, he always seemed to be going deep in the events. Flying by though, so roll back the years and try and win a big event, the biggest of all.
Just give me 1 second.
We'll keep you up to date about that action,
Joshua,
and of course all of the other
Even one
matches
rack
going
to
on
go.
right now as this one progresses. It's like clockwork, that one ball going into the side, and is the 2 on? If it is, he'll be fancying this.
He's become an improved breaker of the hard cut breakers, Philip. Noticed that at the Masters in Germany about a month ago. He makes the 1 ball such a high percentage of the time. Tricky shot here though, looks like it's going to be some sort of combination on the pink 4. But then he's got to control the 2, he's got to control the cue ball. Tricky opening shot here. He's also one of the few players, Phil, who plays in one of these long over sort of jacket things, you know, with the long sleeve. You don't see anyone else wearing one of them. He'll be the hook now behind the green 6. If you can just get that cue ball just to miss the 6, roll it forward, and then the 2's got to avoid that middle point. Cue ball touching the 6, that's okay. Well, I say it's okay, he's put it a bit close to the top rail, so that makes the target bigger now when he's kicking at the ball.
Pretty anonymous so far, Joshua Phillip, in the tournament. He's only played 1 match. It wasn't centre stage. He took on Portugal's João Griot. He was held to 4-4, 1-9-5.
Well, it was a big
strike.
target, but he was a
Ball in there.
long way off.
Please start the clock. Ball in there.
Finds his way around the table. 30-second shot clock. That does not affect Joshua Phillip at all. There's a nice fast pace.
Yeah, you're right. Apart from the most complex decision, when he has to make up his mind what to do, 30 seconds, not even the most mild hindrance.
Joshua Phillip wins the rack.
Joshua winning Filler style. It's 2-0 already. Over on table 1, it really is close. Billy Thorpe and Moritz Neuhausen. The German just getting down to pot the 9-ball here. Just hesitating, even though it looks relatively simple. There you go. Moritz Neuhausen takes the lead. James Aranas 3-2 up on Piers Labutis. 6-3 for Chang Junlin over Albert Manus. Also, Shane Van Boning has that same lead, 6-3 over Francesco Candela. Early days in Mark Bosch-de-Bosch's match against Ajden Pikignac. It's 2-1 to the big breaking Dutchman. 6-2 Robbie Capito over
Joshua Phillips break.
Shane Walford, and there is a little bit of Shane Van Boning doubling up on the Italian. Fu Chi Wei, who beat Albin Auschen yesterday, he's 5-4 up on Chang Yulong. Ali Al-Obeidli 2-0 up on Michael Feliciano, and the Yu Riteng 2-1 on Petri Makinen. 3-0 for Max Lechner over Amir Ali, who beat Alex Pagulayan yesterday.
Yeah, when we flick to the SVB match against Candela, they're the type of matches where if these top boys are going to come unstuck, that's the time where they will come unstuck, because he's playing on one of the outer tables. He's not on the stream table in one of the arenas, and I feel like that's where the lesser ranked players feel a bit more comfortable playing one of the big boys. It's not going too well at the minute for Candela.
Yes, the same principle applies in snooker. You get a lot more shocks on the outside tables than you do on the main table. Also a note of praise for Mustafa Alner. He beat Fedor Gorst yesterday in a major upset. Well, he's 2-0 up on Elliot Sanderson at the moment. I noticed that Sanderson's got his nickname on the back of his shirt today, the Shouter. Right now he's been rendered silent.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the emotion out. Just hope at some point, if Elliot does shout, someone's not on a hill 9-ball in the arena.
There was an occasion a few years ago where we just come off air and he was still playing, and he won his match and he shouted, but it was an expletive, and we were very relieved we were actually not showing it.
We'll take care with this one. Yep. Whenever you're jacked up and you're striking down on the cue ball, upon your delivery, it's easy just to put a bit of unwanted spin on the cue ball.
Yeah, in that case you saw it, right hand side, flick the 3-ball wide to overcut it.
Yeah, he needed more angle here, did Josh. If he can roll through 2 rails, leave the cue ball on the bottom. Yeah, looks like he can. This is where he's just so dangerous. It's very rare when all the balls are in the open, Philly doesn't clear the table.
Yes, and even though he's 26 years of age, he's run the board when it comes to all of the big titles in the game, and he has won this before. 2018, beating Carlo Biardo in the final, 13-10.
Well, like our previous match, where it was one-sided, this one has got off to the exact same start.
Indeed it has. Joshua Filler
Wins the rack.
has the intimidation factor and the X factor. He leads by 3 racks to 0 in no time. The big guns are firing at the World Nineball Pool Championship. We've seen Ko Ping Chung complete a 9-0 whitewash of Darren Appleton on this table. Joshua Filler has taken a 3-0 lead with consummate ease over Hsieh Chia Chen. And I can tell you, on table 10, Shane Van Boning on the hill
Ball in
against
hand.
Francesco Candela at 8-3. Maybe, though, just a ray of hope here for Chen.
Please start the clock.
Cue ball needs to slow down here. Surely he's not hooked himself from the pot. Not with ball in hand.
I think he has, called the cardinal sin. Well, he could see the red 3, but he couldn't pot it. And he's not completed the hook. Well, what an awful sequence that was for Chen. Ball in hand, doesn't get position on the next ball, then with his safety, doesn't get the hook, and what's more, he leaves the 3.
Yeah, I'm sure even Josh was a little bit shocked at what happened in the start of this match. Oh, he hit that well, striking down on the cue ball. Really got into the meaty part of the cue ball there. Still a few people, Phil, wandering around the floor. I know some angles make it look like it's empty, that's the seating, but there's a lot of people walking around. Sure, as this event starts to get to the high pressure situation, this will start to fill up.
Well, no one can handle pressure better than Fuller.
It took a little wobble, but it fell. Familiar sight in the world of 9-ball. Filler queuing to pot a Bumblebee 9.
Joshua Filler wins the rack.
Yeah, and the Bumblebee goes in, and it's another sting for Chen. 4-0 down. Now over on table 2, we've been monitoring the progress of the Filipino teenager Albert Manis. Well, he's now 7-3 down to Chang Junlin. He's got all the experience in the world, And Chang is just 4 pots away from reaching the hill. Interesting scoreline, by the way, on table 1, the other streaming table, where Moritz Neuhausen has now taken a 7-5 lead over Billy Thorpe. BJ Ussery from North Carolina, 5-2 up on his fellow American Hunter Lombardo. It's 4-1 for Mark Bosch over Ashton Pikignac. Position lost on the 8.
Yeah, a little big.
Rack 5.
Say a little big moment.
Joshua Filler to break.
Of course, I
Leading
mean a
4
big
racks to
moment
nil.
at 7-3.
A little big moment. Is that a technical term, Cole? Filler has spotted 34 balls to Chen's 3. 11-1 basically.
Push out called.
Hot off the press, Shane Van Boning is into the last 64. He beat Francesco Candela by 9 racks to 3.
Extension called. Hsieh Chia Chen, it's your choice.
Yeah, SVB survived a little scare there. It can be a bit funny playing on one of them tables, Phil.
You know, I thought I was sitting next to someone who was talking to themselves. Carl Boyes, all of these years of experience in the commentary box, and he didn't turn his microphone on.
Well, I'm going to get you for that one, Phil. Yeah, I thought my headset sounded a bit funny. That's like missing a straight 9.
That really is a rookie mistake for someone who loves the sound of their own voice.
Kicking at the 1.
Foul
Just
stroke.
misses it. Tried
All
to
in hand.
arc it a little bit. You won't be happy with that though. At this level, the players,
Please start the clock.
especially when the ball's over the pocket, Phil, you know, the players, they fancy potting them. You can see it in his face.
I will say this though, and we've seen quite a lot of matches now on this main table. When it comes to hooking, we've seen lots and lots of misjudgments. Maybe the table's playing slightly differently to all of the others, which would not be a surprise because it normally does.
Well, the opening match of the day, I think that's where we've seen Jason Shaw look very comfortable. He's got these exact pool tables in his home club in Connecticut. Of course, he won the Hanoi Open. That was played on this same table.
Yes, and he played his first match on the main table as well against Jeffrey Rodder, so he's now had 2 matches out here. Whereas, as I said before, Filler was on one of the outside tables to start off with.
Extension call.
that's a good shot. Had to come over onto this side rail so he could pop the 3. This needs to move though. I thought you were going to try and spin 2 rails into the centre of the table there. Decided just to try and creep up past the purple 5.
I think for Chen, this is a very important visit. Just needs to make his presence felt. Get his feet under the table.
Wants his cue ball to keep rolling, Phil. Yeah, at least he can cut this ball in. He'd have liked to have hit the rail, the 3rd rail there. Maybe it was the 4th rail. That would have just got him closer to the brown 7. Should still get this ball. Doesn't need to really worry about the cue ball. It'll come off the top rail and back down. That just shows you how steep this is. Can afford to hit the rail though. Still going. Perfect.
Phillip made no contact with the 1 ball.
Hsieh Chia Chen wins the rack.
Chen has done the rest, so after losing the first 4 racks, he finally gets on the board. It's 4-1 to Phillip now. Over the course of the first 3 sessions of this World Nineball Championship, we had a smattering of shocks. Today, by and large, the form book is being franked. Shane Van Boening most certainly did against Francesco Candela. In goes the 9, a 9-3 victory. SVB can take the rest of the day off. We know he won't. We know he'll be back on the practice tables because that's the way he rolls. The champion of 2 years ago. I was very interested in Shane Van Boening's comments after he was elected into the Hall of Fame. He seemed surprised. I don't think anyone else was, because he fully deserved it. If he doesn't deserve the Hall of Fame, who does? But I think being in there, the induction ceremony, by the way, is just before the Moscone Cup in Orlando. Being inducted into the Hall of Fame, I think that might have given him an extra boost.
Well, I think it's probably more the $250,000 winner's check, Phil.
A romanticist sitting next to a pragmatist.
Pool players have been crying out for prize fund, a structure of this for years. As soon as Barry Earn and Emily Fraser and the team at Matru started to put on these events, Phil, these are the things we was hoping would happen, and what a tournament this is turning out to be. Still early stages, of course. We're still in the double elimination round. Feels like we've seen a ton of matches already, to be honest. Hides the cue ball. Filler will be kicking.
Well, Matchroom have radically improved darts. They've been a godsend for snooker, and they've revolutionised Nineball, let's face it. With Filler, he's one of those players, like so many greats, he wants to win every single rack. He takes it as a personal affront when he loses the odd one.
Nineball is going near this corner. It's not going to go in though. 2 balls open, he can pot it. Don't know what angle he's got to get on the red 3. Miller just wants to be a bit careful here though. Things have gone his way in the start of this match. Obviously we're 4-0 up, still 4-1, but 5-1 or 4-2 going into the break just gives you something to think about. Well, he's queuing down here, he's drawing the ball back. This is missable. Well, must have miscued Phil. Yeah, he's looking at the tip, he's miscued.
Yeah, that telltale sick sound. And sometimes that can undermine confidence, especially if he's got a shot of a similar type coming up in the next few moments. Can instill a little bit of doubt. Vijay Usuri 6-2 now over Hunter Lombardo. Billy Thorpe back on level terms against Moritz Neuhausen at 7-7. Piers Laboutis had a slow start against James Arenas, but now he's in front at 6-3. Robbie Capito tried to capitalise and build on that UK Open success. He's 6-4 up on Shane Walford. And after the way he dismantled Bernie Regulario yesterday, 9-1, Anton Raga finding much more difficulty in breaking down Alexa Pachelch, who is 5-4 up. Here it's a 5-9 combination.
Hsieh Chia Chen wins the rack.
And Chen is back within a couple at 4-2.
Thanks.
More pool after the break. When Joshua Filler led 4-0, there was an aura of inevitability about this match. We thought that he would win in a canter. Now, though, Chen has got a couple of racks on the board and he's breaking in the 7th. He's breaking dry.
Yeah, at least he's not left a pot on the 1 though. He's not left a lot, has he? So you always have to tell the referee if you are playing a push out, we've seen this last night with Fedor Ghost and Wong Dok Tien. It was 8-7 and Wong Dok Tien at the end, 8-7 down he was, didn't call the push out. That resulted in a foul ball in hand. Ghost won the match 9-7.
Yeah, directly from that chance.
And the reason why you have to tell the referees because you need to make the referee and your opponent aware, because let's just say
Chen, it's your choice.
something else was to happen, you might be saying, well, I played it or I didn't, so you've got to tell the ref.
If my memory serves me correct, there was a similar kind of incident in the old Dunhill Cup Golf in St Andrews many years ago, where a player didn't basically say, I'm playing a provisional ball. How did Long feel after that? The referee, Julian Roper, was quite correct. He didn't say it was going to be a push out, and consequently it had to be called. Now, can Filler get through to this one, or is the far jaw of the middle pocket intervening?
One ball needs to slow down. He may have left a thin snip pot here. Over on table one, result is in. Moritz Neuhausen has beaten Billy Thorpe 9 racks to 7. Neuhausen, the young German, books his place. The final 64. Thorpe will be back this evening. One more chance to qualify. Could have been worse. That's worked out okay. Feels like this match has all been filler, but just these last couple of racks just started to get a little bit sticky out there.
Chen, one of many very capable cueists from Chinese Taipei, made the last 16 of the US Open almost a decade ago now. He didn't reach single elimination in the World Nineball Championship last year. And of course, if you win this match, you are there. If he loses Chen, he still has another chance in the losers qualification this evening.
Got to be careful here with this one. It's quite wide. Oh, it went in clean. Clean as a whistle. He's growing in confidence here now. Good chance here. Get to just one behind. Again, cue ball looks to be coming round nicely.
Not recommended to lose this match, because in losers qualification, lying in wait will be the European Open champion David Al-Kaidi.
Yeah, you just never know who you're going to drop in to play. Sometimes you feel like you get a good match, and then other times you look and think, wow, that is a tough one, because when Jason Shaw played Johan Chua in the opening match of the day, the loser of that match was going to face Albin Ocean this evening. So it just shows you, you don't know who you're going to fall on.
So a question here, would the players involved in this round, would they take a peek as to who they would play if they lost the match in question?
I would think some do, maybe some don't.
Extension call.
I know it's the old cliche, isn't it? Just focus on your match, ball at a time and all that, but as long as he's got an angle here, he can get himself on this 9. If it's straight, well, he's going to be playing the 9 in left centre. We've seen a few balls missed in the middles. 9-ball pool players are so used to playing balls in the corners. Should be okay though. Yeah, it's easy. He's going to pull to just one behind with this ball.
Hsieh Chia Chen wins
This is a spirited mid-match recovery. Chen was 4-0 down at his lowest ebb. Now, though, the deficit has been reduced significantly to only 4-3. So I'm afraid that's goodbye to viewers on Sky Sports main event. But if you want to continue watching this match, it will be available on Sky Sports Arena. Now let me give you some news of other tables. Eklund Kachi, last year's UK Open champion, 6-3 up on Mickey Kraus. And here was the denouement on table 1. Moritz Neuhausen seeing off Billy Thorpe by 9 racks to 7. So Europe overcoming the USA there. BJ Ussery, 7-3 up on Hunter Lombardo. Mark Bosch-de-Bosch 4-2 on Ashton Pikignac. Chang Junlin and Albert Manus on table 2, locked together at 7-7. What a comeback from the teenager.
Trailing 4 racks to 3.
Piers Labutis 7-3 on James Arenas. Same score for Victor Zielinski over Jan van Lierop. Robbie Capito's lead over Shane Walford reduced to 7-5. Alexa Pachelch on the hill against Anton Raga at 8-4. Fu Chi Wei 7-6 up on Chang Yulong. Ali Al-Abaidli 4-3 up on Michael Feliciano. Liu Riteng 7-2 over Petri Makinen. Max Lechner 4-2 over Amir Ali. 2-0 for Oscar Dominguez over To Lian Han. And 6-1 for Mustafa Alner over Elliot Sanderson. You're up to date with all of the scores now. Let's concentrate on this one, which is taking quite a turn.
Yeah, that's because Filler won the opening 4. He's lost the next 3. You would think he's going to get back to the table in rack 8. Phil, table 2, talk to me. This match seems to have got a lot closer. Young Filipino Albert Manas was down 7 racks to 3.
Yeah, now it's 7-7. Chang is under an awful lot of pressure. And Manus handled the pressure, didn't he, in that very tight contest against John Morris yesterday. Let youth be served.
Here comes the rollout, or the push. Miller will get the option.
Joshua, it's your choice.
Yep, you could hear the referee, Ben Taylor Fuente. Joshua, it's your choice.
And by the way, what a good referee he is, Ben. Very reliable.
Also, another little comeback. Robbie Capito, UK Open champion, was 7-3 up over America's Shane Wolford. Wolford has won 3 on the spin. That match is now 7-6 as well. This is not going to be good enough for Filler. He's going to leave a pot.
No major mistakes from Philip, but just a few frayed edges. I tell you what, that 9-ball was close. Good camera angle, which tells us the 4 easily past the 7. Are we about to see Chen draw level? That would be a turn up for the books from 4-0 down.
Well, he's looking in good shape to tie it up. There's no reason why he won't do. Just wants to get nice and close, or as close as possible to the brown 7. That will make getting on the 8 easy.
Time foul. Time foul.
He must
All
have
in
said
hand.
extension,
You've
surely.
used it.
Oh, he's used his extension. Wow. Oh,
Please start the
my.
clock.
This is the problem. This is why at the start of the event, Phil, I do like the players who have played in Moscone Cups and played in a lot of World Nineball Tour arenas, because they manage the shot clock so good.
There was no dissent whatsoever from Chen. He realised his mistake. Much like the failure to nominate the push last night from Luong, it's just a mental lapse, and a very expensive one, it seems.
Yeah, clearly he said extension, but he didn't have an extension. He'd already used it, and then the beeps went off. He hadn't hit the cue ball in time. It's a foul. Villa with a let-off, though. Because this should have been his opponent clearing the table to tie it up. Instead, Villa is about to steal a rack.
The only thing that
Joshua
Chen
Filler
extended
wins the rack.
was Joshua Filler's lead. It looked like being wiped out. In fact, it's now back to 2 racks at 5-3. And if you're looking for a turning point, that clearly is a prime candidate. Now, this is Victor Zielinski eyeing up a 3-9 combination. In it goes, and he defeats Jan van Lierop 9-3. So Poland overcoming Holland there. Zielinski's the kind of player who, if he gets on a roll, could make some big noise.
Yeah, the speed he plays the game, instinct, pool, sees the shot, gets down, pulls the trigger. He knows how to go deep in these events as well.
Lithuania's Piers Labutis on the hill against James Aranas at 8-3. Also on the hill, Alexa Pashelsh against Anton Raga 8-4, and Fu Chi Wei against Chang Yulong at 8-6. Add in Liu Riteng 8-2 up on Petri Mäkinen.
Alexa Pashelsh showing the form that took him to a semi-final at a US Open.
Joshua Filler will be feeling a whole lot better. Well, it's only day 3, only session 4 in the championship, Carl, but we've already seen some extraordinary incidents.
Push out call.
Yeah, big moments in big matches.
Joshua, it's your choice.
Well, in the previous rack, he decided to play the push out, Josh, and he made a mess of it. This one sets up a little bit kinder, though. All the balls are on the table. Trying to get the cue ball down behind the red 3 or the purple 5. That's the plan. Here it comes, but he's hit the purple 5, Phil. I think if this happens again, I think Filler just needs to give the push back, because that's two shots where he could have handed back where he's made a mess of it. Doesn't look like it pots though.
Extension cool.
See how tight it was there for a second. We have another monitor on our table from the comms box, so we get to see table 2, and that was the match between Albert Manas and Chang Zhong Lin, and Chang Zhong Lin was 7-3 up in that match. Albert Manas has just got on the hill. He leads Chang Zhong Lin 8 racks to 7. What a talent he is, Phil.
Well, actually, from our commentary position, which is elevated above the arena, we can see the closest table to us is table 2, and we can see the Manas Chang match. And the more you see of the young man, the more you're impressed by him. Totally cool. As for Filler, well, as usual, he's been very sharp in the potting department, but when it comes to the tactical aspect of the game, I think he's dipped below his normal standard.
Cue ball behind the pink. Well, a little bit fortunate in the end. Looked like the one was going to hit a ball and leave Filler a shot. Maybe you can still see a bit of this. Yeah. Don't know what he can do. Maybe just use the 3 ball. Just trying. You're just banking the one up the table. Just leave some distance. There was no way of him getting a snooker.
Another result, Liu Riteng has very convincingly beaten Finland's Petri Mäkinen 9-2. That was over on table 14. So Mäkinen, the latest player, thrust into the maelstrom of losers qualification.
Also looks like Labutis has beaten James Aranas over there, Phil. I can see Labuta's putting his cues away. I know he had a big lead.
Yeah, confirmation, 9-3 the scoreline for the Lithuanian.
Nineball pool has
Extension
all
call.
the potential. Been big sport around the world. There's so many countries that play pool. Over 40 countries representing here at the World Pool Championships.
Well, I was talking to Addy, our presenter, backstage about this. And I'll give you this stat. You might not believe it, but it's true. The World Snooker Championship went to the Crucible in 1977. Since then, 20 nationalities have been represented at the Crucible. As you say, Carl, over 40 nationalities represented here.
Wow, that is a big stat.
Yeah, when it comes to cue sports, this has to be the most cosmopolitan, international.
Well, I've just seen on the screen in front of us, Phil, young Albert Manners had a chance to win the match and he missed an easy 3-ball. We'll keep you posted as always as Phil at the table here. All the balls are in the open. Probably whip the cue ball round off a couple of rails. Could also draw it off one. He doesn't mind that shot, Phil, to be fair. Yeah, there's the draw shot.
On table 4, BJ Ussery has beaten Hunter Lombardo 9-4, so his Moscone Cup qualification hopes given a boost. The North Carolinian.
Hunter Lombardo will now face the wife of the man on your screens, Pia Filler.
Joshua Filler wins the rack.
As for Joshua Filler, though, he looks like avoiding the loser's side because after being pegged back from 4-0 to 4-3, he now is 6-3 ahead of Chen. Welcome back to sparkling Jeddah in Saudi Arabia for day 3 action from the World Nineball Championship. And it's a case this afternoon of, oh brother,
Rack 10.
all 3 co-brothers
Joshua Filler's a break.
going into
Leading 6 racks
the
to
last
3.
64 tomorrow. And now both Kachi brothers are through. Cledio won earlier. Now Eklund Kachi has beaten Mickey Kraus 9-3. Joshua Filler would love a 9-3 scoreline here.
Yeah, it's a family affair, the World Pool Championships, because if Filler wins this, he's through, and then he'll be watching Pia Filler, his wife, trying to qualify as well this evening. Also, Phil, in the Saudi Junior Championships, there's quite a few brothers playing in that as well. Me and Jeremy Jones had the pleasure of showing him a few tricks on the pool table. Doesn't want to find the gap in between the pink and the 8, that's why he's having a look. Didn't.
Yeah, when it comes to siblings, the early years of the World Snooker Championship were dominated by two brothers. Joe Davis, undefeated from 1927 to 1946, and then when he retired from the championship, undefeated, Fred Davis took over as the dominant force. Fred, Joe's younger brother.
Foul stroke.
Well, that is precisely what he didn't want. He was trying to be a little cute there, I think.
Yeah, you've got to make sure you hit the ball when kicking at this level. Ball in hand usually means the end.
It looks as though Filler's mid-match wobble is a thing of the past. Well, maybe it was unkind to call it a wobble.
We've told you about it a few times, but this table right in front of me and Phil has been an enthralling match. Coming to the end, Manus is still 8-7 up. There's 4 balls left on the table. Chang Jung Lin is kicking at the green 6. Joshua Filler on our screens is just 3 balls away from another 4-rack lead. He was 4-0 up at the start of this match. Then things were looking a little scary, or certainly looking like it was going to get tied up at 4-4, but Hsieh Chen forgot to play his shot in the allotted time, which resulted in a time foul.
Yes, if you're just joining us, he thought he'd got an extension in the pocket. In fact, he'd used it in that particular rack. And boy, what a difference it has made. (7-3) Filler it is. 2 more required now. Let's take a quick trip over onto table 2, where the end might just be nigh. At 7-7, the Albert Manus Chang Junlin match suddenly became very tactical. This rack most certainly has been.
This is the shot, the young Filipino, 17 years of age. He's faced with a thin green 6. Usually the youngsters like to fire at these. Oh, he's missed it by some way. He wants this cue ball to be touching the rail. That will make the pot tougher. Similar type of shot, but the cue ball is going to come off the top rail and hopefully sneak round the back of the 8. Chang.
Close to a conclusion here. Alexa Pachelch has beaten Anton Roger 9-4. So the Dragon slayed.
So the Dragon goes over to LQ. I wonder who he's going to be facing. Chang Jung Ling was 7-3 up over on this table. That young man to the right of your screens that we just seen Albert Manas, well, he's won the next 5. He's on the hill. He was the winner of the Hanoi Junior Open over in Vietnam. That was the event. Jason Shaw won the men's. He won the juniors. He's overcut it. What's he left? He's left a chance for the young man.
Rack 11.
Matchroom
Joshua
Multisport on YouTube. If you want to see if Albert Manas clears the table. Obviously, you want to stay here and sweat the end of this one. We will keep you posted. Has he got a shot on the blue too?
Most certainly not. Results coming in thick and fast. Fu Chi Wei has beaten Chang Yulong at 9-6.
Push out called. Hsieh Chia Chen, it's your choice. Joshua, please play again.
Oh, that was close. Matt going off the 6. No, it hit the 6 a little too thick. Tap at the table from Filler. That's a pool player's apology. He won't be sorry though. Don't be fooled by that move.
It's purely etiquette. It's just a convention. You're right. The prevailing emotion when you have a little bit of luck is gratitude.
Nineball's close. Oh, it just caught the jaw. Oh, kicking 2 rails, nearly flukes the 9 in the side. Pure, that was pure.
I seem to say this every time we commentate on Joshua Filler, but I think it's worth repeating. We talk about different aspects of the game, about temperament, tactics, cue action, all that kind of stuff. Plenty more besides. But ultimately, if you can pot, that's what you need. That's the most valuable currency.
Yeah, you need to pot well, and you need to have good cue ball control. Because let's say if you're not like a strong potter, you know, from distance or them tricky ones, let's just say you're just a little bit lower ranked than the top boys. If your cue ball's good, it means you get less tricky pots.
And you might say this is just a wee bit tricky, although I fully expect it to be rifled in.
Joshua
Meat
Filler
and
wins the
drink
rack.
for Joshua Filler, who is now on the hill. 8-3 the scoreline. Now you might remember we left table 2 with a result hanging in the air. Well, how about this? Albert AJ Manas has this 9-ball, and it's in to beat Chang Junlin 9-7. That really is a major scalp after he beat John Morra yesterday.
Also, UK Open champion Robbie Capito books his place into the final 64. 9-7 over Wolford.
I'm a big fan of Capito as a player and a person. He's a great advert for the game, and I think it's really good that he's through. What an embarrassment of riches, though. We're guaranteed now in the last 64. And of course, unless Chen pulls off a remarkable comeback, the parade of stars will be supplemented by Joshua Filler.
Rack 12. Joshua Filler to break on the hill, leading 8 racks to 3.
The 9-ball's moving. Is it going to go in the centre? It's another match with a golden for the win.
9 racks
Joshua Filler.
For the third time on the main table, a match is concluded with a golden break. Joshua Filler knocks in the 9 with his first shot in rack 12, and he defeats Chen by 9 racks to 3. It was all very different after the time fell. From that point, Filler pulled away. He looks very dangerous to me.
Here's another look. It's the cue ball off the side rail, banking the 9 into the side pocket for the W.